Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. Today we're going to be talking about something that is so important and so highly underrated in our weight loss journeys, and that is finding consistency with the basic, sometimes boring, unsexy habits. Okay, those habits that are so important in getting consistent with and reaching those goals. So I'm going to talk about why we can't rely on motivation and especially not willpower to keep us going. Okay, we have to fall back on discipline. But that discipline is so much easier when we have these good habits in place. And the more you practice these habits, the easier it's going to be. And then the easier your weight loss is going to be as well. So before we get into that, I want to give you a little behind the scenes update on me, our business, how things are going. Our Black Friday promotion went amazing. We got so many new ladies started on their health and fitness journeys, and so many of our current clients committed to continuing to make sure that they're going to reach their goals, learn how to maintain their progress, because just reaching your goals isn't the thing, right? That's not our goal. Our goal is to reach the goal and then learn how to maintain it, because that's a whole nother skill set, is maintaining your body composition, your weight, improving on that is all in a whole nother skill set. And we love to teach that during coaching. So I love that these women decided to continue and decided to start right now, because it really shows that, when you're really in this for a lifestyle change, you don't want to just do it when it's easy or when your motivation is there. Okay. You really want to do it when maybe motivation is not there. Maybe your life is crazy. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you have lots of parties and events, things like that. That's what's going to make your maintenance so much easier, is if you learn how to do it when life is crazy. Because let's face it, it's always crazy, right? That's just how life is. There is always something. So proud of these ladies. I'm super excited for them. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. We did. We went up to Park City here in Utah, and we went to the Thanksgiving dinner that they offer at the Grand Summit Hotel. It was super fun. My college kids were home. It was so awesome hanging out with them. So it was really great. And now we're in December, which I can hardly believe it. I don't know about you guys. It's freezing here in Utah. The weather's all inversion. The air quality is horrible. We're like just in the thick of winter in Utah. So, all right, let's jump into our topic today. I do have a fun announcement at the end of something that we are doing this month. That is totally free, that I want to invite you guys to, but it goes along with this idea of motivation. So I want to kind of talk to you about this first. So let's face it. Okay. Motivation does not always work. It doesn't last. It's great to feel motivated. Feeling quote unquote motivated is not a bad thing. Of course, it's a great thing. You want to feed off that when you have it, but it is not ideal to rely on that motivation to fuel your transformation, because it always goes away. It always does. It always comes back. It's fleeting. It's going to go up and down throughout your whole journey. So you are going to have times when you're motivated. You're going to have times when you're not. So what you do during those times when you're not motivated will set the stage for how successful you are in your weight loss and your maintenance journey. Okay. So you want to make sure you don't totally throw in the towel, get off your healthy habits, that kind of thing during those times when you're lacking in motivation. That's super important. Let me tell you a little story. So remember back when I gained 50 pounds in 52 weeks, remember that whole story? If you haven't, go back to some of the early episodes where I talk through that whole story. During that year, I never stopped doing the small things. Okay. I always worked out. I always paid attention to my nutrition. Yes, my approach to nutrition changed over that year as I was trying to figure out, what the heck was going on with me, but I always was aware and I always was working on it in some way. I remember I never stopped lifting weights. I was very active. I focused on my sleep and my water, all these things that are so important, that during that year when I was gaining weight, it is really hard to stay quote unquote motivated when your body is not responding how you want it to, right? It was so hard. And I remember one day at the gym, someone came up to me, she was following me on social media, and she said, how do you stay motivated even though you're going through what you're going through and not seeing the results you want to see? And I was like, that's a really good question. And it really made me think, like, I knew for sure I was not motivated. I was definitely not motivated. The last thing I wanted to do was go work out when I was up 50 pounds. My clothes didn't fit. I felt sluggish. I felt just kind of yucky and blah. My fitness level was so low. The last thing I wanted to do was to go work out at a public gym in a place where I knew people and they knew what I had previously looked like, right? Motivation was not what got me there. So what was it then? Was it willpower? Like, was I fighting myself tooth and nail to get to the gym? Like, no, that wasn't it either. I just did it. It was habit. It was just what I did. It was part of my identity to get up, work out, eat healthy, drink my water. All these things are just things that I did. Okay. So these habits are so important. And they're really going to fuel your motivation. So what I want to talk about right now is why motivation doesn't work, when it commonly fails us, and some things that we can do about each of these ideas to kind of reframe these things in our minds. Okay, so let's go ahead. What I did here was I actually asked on social media and I compiled a list. I called it a top 10 list, but I actually don't even know if there's 10. There might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is. What do you know? There's 10. I called it top 10, but then I didn't number them. So I'm like, I don't know if I really have 10. Top 10 list. Okay, we got that. To common answers to the question of when does your motivation fail you? Okay, first of all, little tangent. Are you always motivated to do the laundry? No, I hate doing laundry. In fact, I've got 2 loads of laundry on my bed right now that I need to go fold when I finish recording, or maybe tonight. And I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. Because am I going to do it because I'm motivated to do it? No, I'm going to do it because I want clean clothes to wear and I want to be able to go to bed tonight in a bed that's not covered in laundry, right? Are you always motivated to go to work? No, you just do it because you know you need to. You know your family needs clean clothes. You know you need a paycheck, whatever it is, you just do it, right? All right, let's talk about when does motivation drop. These are in no particular order, but number 1, motivation drops when your progress is not as fast as you wish it was, right? When you get started on a program and you think, okay, I know that an average weight loss is like a pound or so a week, but I'm different. I'm going to lose 2 to 3 pounds a week. And you're 3 weeks in and you haven't lost the 8 to 10 pounds that you thought you should be dropping by this point. Your motivation is going to drop. Right? Okay, I think we can all agree with that. That's the time when motivation drops. So what are some ways you can reframe this? First of all, make sure you have realistic expectations about your journey, okay? Half pound to 2 pounds a week, or changes in measurements or changes in photos, all of that is amazing progress that you should celebrate. And you need to celebrate all progress. You guys, back in that year when I was gaining those 50 pounds, I would have given anything to see any progress anywhere in that time. And so when I did start seeing progress, I was thrilled out of my mind. Okay. So you got to celebrate every half a pound lost, every half an inch lost, celebrate all of it. Okay. Another little tip here is don't rely only on the scale. That only tells you part of the story. Use measurements, photos, a pair of tight jeans that fit you tight in the beginning. Pay attention to how those fit. That's a much better way to track your progress. Okay. Let's go on to number 2. Motivation drops when you compare your journey to other people. More specifically, what I heard on social media from you guys was when I compare my journey to others who seem like they don't have to work as hard. So what does that look like? That might look like you saying, well, Sally down the street can look exactly how I want to look. She looks perfect and has this perfect life. And all she has to do is go for a run twice a week. It's not fair, right? That's what that looks like. So when they don't appear to have to work as hard, you have to keep in mind, you don't really know how other people have to work. Maybe she has so many things going on in the background of her life that you don't understand, okay? And that can be a myriad of different things. You just can't compare. I know we hear this all the time, but you don't know where she's at in her journey. She might be, 5 years ahead of you. For example, someone who has lifted weights for a long amount of time, has good hormones, has good internal health, has really good habits with their nutrition. It may appear that they don't have to work as hard to maintain the body that you, compared to how hard you feel like you have to work to maintain your results. but they put in that work for the previous 5 years or whatever it is to get there. And you might be comparing your stage 1 or 2 to their stage 5, 6, or 7. Okay. Everyone is different. And it just might take you longer to see results than so and so. Does that mean anything? Does that mean you should stop? No, of course not. That's silly. That means you got to keep your eyes on your own lane and focus on yourself. Okay. Number 3, when might your motivation drop? Your motivation might drop when you are exhausted, overwhelmed, so busy, you just feel like you can't add anything else to your plate. Okay. So instead of just giving up, like you might want to, instead of just throwing in the towel and saying, I can't do this anymore, I can't do any of it, I can't do my workouts, my nutrition, my meal prep, my yada yada, whatever it is, whatever story you're telling yourself about all the work you have to do, instead of just giving up all of it, really try to be intentional and try to make a conscious effort to scale back. Okay. Decide in advance to take a rest day, for example, instead of snoozing and skipping the gym. Yes, you might be thinking, well, the outcome is the same. The outcome is that I didn't do my workout. But the way you go about it is so very different. It's a different mentality when you are intentional, more controlled in your thinking, and you have that planned recovery as opposed to messing up and falling off track, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? And be aware of your needs and practice self-care. Get outside in the sun, take lots of walks outside, take a bath or a nap if you need to, whatever that looks like for you. Oftentimes, I heard on a podcast recently that oftentimes when we feel overwhelmed, it's not so much that we're doing too much, but it's that we're not doing enough of what we love. And so if that resonates with you, really focus on trying to build in that fun, build in those things that you absolutely love to do. And even if it's 10 to 15 minutes a day, it can be as short as you want, but building in something just for you can help you so much when you feel like you are just giving everything. You're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you can't possibly do more. Okay, so really be intentional about scaling back and focus on doing things that you love. Okay, all right. Reason number 4 that your motivation might run out would be maybe your motivation runs out in the evenings or in the weekends, right? You might think, I had such a busy day. Oh my gosh, the kids were crazy. I was so stressed at work and I just got the kids to bed and I deserve some ice cream because whatever, it's been a crazy day. I'll start over tomorrow or the weekend. Like same kind of situation applies, right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to really, again, go back to being mindful and intentional. Are you truly hungry? Could you maybe be bored? Okay, there's just some questions you can ask yourself. When it comes to the treats after the kids go to bed, is there something that you can have in a very small serving size, maybe 2 bites of ice cream, maybe 1 Hershey Kiss, like whatever it is you're wanting, what's the smallest serving size you think that could really help you just feel satisfied? Oftentimes it's smaller than you would have if you weren't being mindful and intentional, okay? Another thing here is it's common, you could be under eating during the day or throughout the week. I talk to ladies all the time on social media who are like, I come home from work and I'm starving and I can't control it. And it's because they didn't really eat throughout the day. They didn't eat, they didn't fuel their bodies throughout their workday, in the morning for breakfast, around their workout, whatever that looks like. And they end the day, of course, starving. And then you're going to overeat and overshoot your macro targets, right? It's super common. Same thing with the weekend, right? You've heard this story over and over. Undereat Monday through Thursday, overeat Friday through Sunday, and they wonder why they're not seeing results. Okay. So, when you ask those questions like, are you bored? Are you truly hungry? Try to really get to the root of the problem. If you're bored, go outside of the kitchen and do something. Maybe go outside. Maybe if you just have just these cravings for food and you're not really hungry, maybe try brushing your teeth. Maybe go as far away from the kitchen into your basement or upstairs or whatever it is away from the kitchen and do something with your kids. Just try to get your mind off of the food. Okay. All right. We're on number 5. Your motivation might drop maybe after a vacation or an event you've been working towards. So let's say you've got this amazing beach trip, cruise, whatever it is. You're super excited. Maybe you have a wedding. Maybe one of your kids are getting married or you're getting married or something. And it's been your driving factor, your motivation for so many months because you are trying for this. You want to look your best. You want to feel your best. And it's been like your goal date, right? That time comes and it goes. And I want you to expect your motivation to run out. Again, back to being intentional and mindful. Be aware and know, okay, this date is coming. I might feel like I'm in a bit of a rut after this. So what am I going to do? Set a new goal right away. It could even be an activity goal. Do X amount of push-ups this month, run a mile daily, or walk a certain amount of steps over the course of the month. Something to put your focus back on a new goal. It doesn't have to be weight loss related. In fact, it shouldn't be if you've reached your goal. It should be something else. Maybe it's a habit that you're struggling with and really focus on that for a month. Set a plan to achieve that goal. Be organized about it and just be self-aware enough to know that my motivation is probably going to drop after this thing comes. And so I need to be really mindful, intentional of setting a new goal and working towards something else. Okay. All right. Number 6, your motivation might drop when you're struggling to stay on track with your plan. Okay. It's kind of this cycle, right? You're struggling with your plan, your motivation drops because you feel like you just can't do it. And then it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep struggling, your motivation keeps dropping, you struggle even more, your motivation drops even more because you're relying on that motivation. And all of a sudden you're like throwing in the towel and eating all the cookies, right? So what I want you to do instead, I want you to evaluate the plan. If you're struggling with the plan, it's not a good plan for you. If you're working with a coach on my team, please express this to them because we will 100% change the plan to help you be more consistent with it, okay? Is your plan something that you can realistically commit to? If not, ask yourself, what can you commit to? My coaches ask their clients this all the time. Okay, you're struggling. You can't do XYZ right now. I totally get it. Let's kind of dumb this down a bit, not dumb it down, but make it more manageable for you. And what can you commit to this week? Maybe 2 things. Let's only focus on that. Okay, keep in mind, a perfect plan is not perfect if you can't stick to it, right? So talk with your coach. If you don't have a coach, just think about the plan that you're trying to follow and adapt it to be something that you feel that you can be consistent with right now, because that feeling of accomplishment is so, so important. Consistency and that feeling of accomplishment and knowing you can do it is really, really important, okay? Number 7, your motivation might drop when you go off track for a few days. Okay, maybe you have a short trip. Maybe you're off track for the weekend after several days of maybe overeating, skipping workouts. It can feel hard to get back on track, right? So I want you to stop expecting perfection. I want you to know that you will go off track. You will, 100%. Even when I used to compete, I was never 100% all the time. You just can't be. It's not really possible. So I want you to decide in advance what you're going to do when you go off track, okay? Not if, when. So you know, okay, next time I find myself off track with my plan, I'm going to get back on track with the very next meal, or having some sort of a trigger. Maybe it is, okay, I'm super off track. I'm going to do this thing every time to kind of get a switch to flip in my brain to know that now I'm back on track. And some ideas might be 2 cups of a tall glass of water and maybe 5 deep breaths. Maybe you go into your room, you lay down, you close your eyes, you meditate for 5 minutes, and just something that can kind of trigger to you that your brain, the switch in your brain has flipped, and okay, now I'm back on track. I'm no longer munching, being negative in my head, and just getting yourself back on track. But deciding what to do in advance is going to be key here, okay? Number 8, your motivation might drop when you don't have a specific goal. It's super common, especially if you've reached a goal and you don't have another goal, to be like, well, I'm not motivated to go work out or follow any sort of nutrition plan, even if it's more intuitive or educated style eating where you're not tracking. It can be hard when you don't have some sort of a goal, okay? One thought I want to offer you here is that maintenance is a goal. So if someone were to ask me right now, what is your fitness goal? I wouldn't say I don't have one. I would say my goal is to enjoy my life while maintaining my current fitness level and physique. That's a goal, okay? And so I want you to set a goal, anything. It can be a strength-related goal. It can be a maintenance goal. It can be a continued weight loss goal, whatever that is for you. And I want you to set a goal that is habit-based. So take that goal and make it habit-based. So break down the habits that you would need to achieve or follow consistently to reach that goal. Okay, that's step number one. Set your goal. Figure out what habits. Step number two, figure out what habits you need to reach that goal. And number three is have a reward. Okay, that's so fun. You guys, our brains work on these rewards. Okay, we get excited for them. It's human nature. It doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be food. It can be, I'm going to take a bath with no interruptions, light some candles, use some bath salts, whatever it is that feels like a nice reward for you. Maybe you talk to your spouse, you get the kids out of the house, whatever it is, have some sort of a reward when you reach this goal. Okay. Number 9, it can be hard to stay motivated when your schedule changes, right? Maybe, we hear this a lot when school gets out for the year. I know that's not the time of year we're in right now, but when school gets out for the year, I hear a lot like, oh my gosh, my kids are here all the time. I can't stay on track because my schedule's so different. Okay. And your schedule is going to change for a variety of reasons. That's just a big one that we hear a lot. So again, here, if you know it's going to change, which oftentimes we do, expect that things will change and set a new plan. Create new routines, okay? Plan your workouts, your meals for the week in advance. Get those workouts in first thing in the morning if you feel like you're going to struggle to get them in later. If your day-to-day schedule is super unpredictable, you might need to just get up super early, make sure you have your food ready, make sure you got your workout in, and then it's like whatever happens for the day is fine because you've done those non-negotiables, okay? So figure out what those non-negotiables are for you and get them in as early in the day as possible before things get crazy, okay? Another thing here, don't feel so tied to your schedule and your routines. If your schedule and your routines change, they change and you figure out a new way to go about it. You just got to chill out about it and think, okay, this is fine. There's nothing wrong here. What am I going to do now? Okay. So hopefully that kind of helped you. And then the last thing that we have from my poll on social media about when you are motivated or when your motivation drops is when you're bored with your plan. When you're bored, you feel like I've been doing the same things over and over again. I've been eating the same foods. I get this way too, you guys. There's times when I'm like, I do not want to go to the gym. I don't want to. I want to be rollerblading all the time, every day. So I get it. I get it when you don't want to do the things, okay? Give yourself permission to change things up, okay? Change your routine, find a new hobby, maybe get a gym buddy to work out with, maybe find a new playlist or get some new outfits to wear or find new podcasts to listen to. These little things can help so much with quote unquote motivation and getting in those habits that we need, okay? Try some new recipes. Maybe let yourself be a little lazy for a little while. There's sometimes when I am just so burned out on chicken and meal prep and I just need some time where I can have easy grab and go things. And I find myself having more protein bars, protein shakes, whatever it is than I typically do. And that's okay. Just give yourself that time to have a little bit of a change with your routine, with your plan. And then you will have a time where you can get back on track, not back on track, I shouldn't say that, but where you'll go back to things that you used to do when you're not feeling so bored with it, okay? So we just went into 10 ways motivation can fail us. So hopefully now you see why you really just can't rely on that motivation and especially not that willpower to fuel your transformation, okay? So what can you rely on, all right? Going back to that story at the beginning, was I motivated to go to the gym? No. It was a habit. It was easy. Did I want to go? No, but I did. And I didn't even really think about it. I never questioned, well, should I go today? I feel kind of fat today. Should I even go? Like that wasn't even a question that entered my mind. Okay. The key to lasting, sustainable, and easily maintainable results is learning to get consistent with some very crucial habits, okay? So my team of coaches and I got together and we created 7 key habits. We're calling them the Moxie 7, okay? We have 7 habits for an easier weight loss journey, okay? These are very specific. I can almost promise you some of them are not what you would think. Some of them are what you would think, but some of them are not, okay? And if you can get consistent with this list of habits, your weight loss journey will be so much easier, and you'll be so much more likely to maintain those results once you reach your goal. Okay, so I'm actually doing a free masterclass. I want to invite you to it. It is Wednesday, December 13th. It's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to put the link to register in the show notes here or over on social media. Okay, if you can't make it live, still register because I'm going to be sending out the recording to everyone who registers. I will be giving out a pretty cool prize to someone who is on live. So if you can make it live, I would love to have you. Okay, these habits I'm going to share with you guys are crucial. Absolutely crucial. So please make it. Love to share these with you. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please leave a rating and or review. It's the only way that we can get this podcast out to new people. So I super, super appreciate it. Yeah, thanks you guys. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.